Hello, everybody. This is JJ Hardy with Victory Leadership Coaching with our Friday leadership training. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's a little bit different, but it's kind of cool, and it's important because communication as a leader is always important. But today, we're going to talk about reporting structure. And I know with my definition of leadership, um, the whole idea of focusing on tasks and statistics is not always a desirable thing to focus on because we're supposed to be focusing on people. However, I will start off the training today after they turned their cameras off, so I don't know if they're having mic issues or not. But I wanted to say that we have Hannah and Pat here, and they are two people taking my course from different organizations, but wonderful individuals. Hannah's a financial coach. Pat works at an EMS organization. And hopefully some of his coworkers pop on here, but they may or may not. It's after the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. Does anybody want to do a plug for their organization, Hannah or Pat, before we get started with training? No?
No.
Come on. No, you guys are too shy.
Well, yeah, that is true.
That's okay. Hopefully that'll change. We'll keep on doing these trainings every week, so you never know. Ooh, River is here. Hey,
Hello.
River. I do want to let you know that depending on your comfort level, I want to let you know that this is actually streamed live on my social media accounts. So,
Okay.
If that's an uncomfortable thing for you, it's your comfort level is whatever. But what I'll do, since you hopped on before I actually started my training, is I'm going to go into the training itself and then open it up for discussion. And today we're going to talk about reporting structure in leadership. But River also works at that EMS company, and we're happy to have him on here today. All right. So reporting structure. First of all, what does that mean? Everybody goes to work and they have somebody they work for. And then sometimes they work at a level where they have other people working for them. Or sometimes if you're in a situation like Hannah's in the financial world, where, not that I'm trying to call you out there, Hannah, but in certain industries, you don't necessarily have people working for you, but you do have a certain level of responsibility to keeping people updated and communicating with them on a regular basis while they are operating their own independent contract, doing the same thing that they're doing under your umbrella. It doesn't matter. All of those things require some level of reporting. Let me go into a little bit more detail on that. I'll use just a blanket example. So I'm a logistician. I have people in a couple different lanes. Some people work in trucking. Some people work in warehousing. They do different jobs, but I need information from them so that I can communicate to my higher headquarters or my boss or whatever the case may be. Well, in addition to the normal day-to-day conversations that I have with the people that are working, I'll call it under my charge. Not that I like to say I'm in charge of anybody or ever have, but to say that they work for me, it means I require a certain level of information from them while I'm providing support. How is that information received? How is that information reported? And is it easy for me to understand? And is that information easy for them to report to me? And both of those things are important. So easy to understand means that it's, yeah, I've worked with one person on this call, not going to say who, but also many other people in the past, on taking their reports and looking at them and saying, hey, look, I don't need to know all of that. You need to know all of that, but I can't, with all the stuff that I'm looking at every day, I can't handle all of that information. It's too busy. There's more information that I can process in a short amount of time, and I'm going to miss something. So we need to discuss what you actually report to me so that I can look at it, understand it, ask a quick question if I need to, and then do the things that I need to do so that I can simplify that even more and report things from all of the different facets of people that I have working under my charge so that I can report that up higher. This falls under effective communication. The reason it falls under effective communication is because it is, you need to focus on the personal aspect, is what I talk about a lot of times. And it's hard to get to know your people and have regular conversations with them if all you're doing is calling them all the time to get information. Have those conversations about what type of information you need, how they get that information, the way they provide that information to you, and then explain to them why you have to have it that way, and feel free to show them the stuff that you report up higher. There's nothing wrong with that. The reason that those types of reporting structures are required is because, you know, everybody at every level needs to know what's going on. If they don't know what's going on, then they're going to be considered a point of failure at some point in their job. And is that their fault? Well, yes and no. So they don't know what they don't know what they don't know. But if you have conversations around these things and you set up a streamlined process of getting the information from the lowest level all the way up to the highest level, then not only is everybody informed, but the conversations that you have on a daily basis is not focused around getting that information, because the information's already being tracked and the stuff that's needed to put up to the next level is already being reported higher. So now you can focus on relationships. You can make the environment good, because if all you're doing is focusing on those reports and trying to spend hours and hours and hours upon hours every week and month trying to fill those things out and pass that information up, then you're not going to get to know anybody. And they're going to think that you're just that guy that only cares about the work, when in reality, you're just trying to get the information so that you can report it. And by the way, you have to have the information so you know what's going on. It could be, you know, all the stuff that you have to order for parts for your vehicles, or it could be all of the drop trailers that you have if you're in transportation, or maybe if you're in a warehouse, it could be, you know, different things that got damaged, but how much equipment is actually getting palletized and moved out on a daily basis. Those things are all important. But if that's all you focus on all the time, then your people aren't going to be valued, because it's going to feel like that you're constantly bugging them for information and shoving stuff down their throat. And will you know anything about them or what they do when they leave work, or what's important to them and what's not important to them? No, because you're only going to care about what's important to you. So this is an important topic, because if we're going to be good leaders, then you got to set up systems and processes, and in this case, a reporting structure, so that those relationships can be built and you're not just constantly talking about work all the time. Because even though you're at work, it's daunting. It creates an environment where people don't feel valued, and honestly, you don't feel valued because you're just a paper pusher. And that's really that. It was brief, but I'd like to create a dialogue around that. Does anybody have any questions, or would like to maybe mention a time where this was beneficial to them in their past? I hear Jeopardy music. No. Well, this is just one of those things that somebody's saying something. I keep cutting out. It could, and it could be your computer too. Does anybody else? Am I cutting out for anybody else?
No, you're not cutting out for me, but her video is lagging really bad.
Yeah, I do think it's yours, Hannah.
Hannah, if you actually turn off your video, it'll actually speed up your system a little bit.
As much as we like seeing you on camera.
I had to do the same thing because my video is just lagging like crazy and everybody was choppy.
Right.
So over at Rescuers right now, we're currently pushing for a lot more communication, mostly from management up, so that everybody gets onto the same picture. It's a struggle. It's a struggle for real.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you say that you're focusing on the communication from the management on up. So I challenge you to, and you don't have to answer anything on this or even make a comment about it if you don't want to, but I challenge you to think about what types of conversations all the managers are having with the people below them to make it so that it's easier to communicate those things up higher. And maybe even what type of information can they just automatically send you on a daily basis so you don't even have to talk about it. Just a challenge. I like challenges. They're fun and it makes good conversation, especially if people start feeling guilty. River, you have anything to say on the subject?
Command structure and like reporting structure is always important, whether it be through, I was in the Army for a little bit and like I'm on a SWAT team now, and sadly I know the commander personally, but it's very important to, even though I know him personally, to kind of keep normal command structure and like reporting, like between me and my squad lead and my assistant squad lead.
Okay. Makes sense. When you know people on a personal level, sometimes it's easier to ask for things from them too. Sometimes it's harder.
Exactly, but I found, I think it's best to just kind of do what you can to step back and not like uh essentially jump the command structure. Like,
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
Oh man, I tell you what, jumping the command structure, that is a slippery slope, dude. That's one of those things where if you're doing it, you better have a good reason. And I wouldn't jump it too fast because you might be upsetting some people in the process. Might want to say at least, hey, especially if you're in the military, Sergeant so and so, I have to talk to my commander about something. I just wanted to let you know. Oh, yeah, he popped out for a second. Yeah, maybe saying something along the lines of, "Hey, Sergeant so and so, I have to talk to Captain so and so about something real quick. I just wanted to let you know so that you weren't kept out of the loop." Sometimes just that quick conversation, just to make sure that they know that you're having a conversation up higher, even if you don't expose all the details, so that they are not blindsided by it later on. Uh, a good example would be if you're talking to a director and you're a supervisor and you jump your manager. This is stating things on a different level outside of the military or even the police force or whatever. If you talk to your manager first and let them know about that conversation you're going to have with the director, later on when that director goes to the manager and say, "Did you know that River came and talked to me about this? Did you know he was going to talk to me about this?" And then you can say, "Yes, I did, and this is why." And then it wouldn't be a big deal. But people don't like it when others jump the chain of concern, chain of command, go over the manager's head, especially without letting them know first. Communication is very, very important. And if you're not communicating consistently and often and making sure that people are informed when changes are happening or when there's something important to talk about, honestly, having the conversation it smooths things over a lot better than just letting it go or trying to jump over their head. So that was a good call out, River. I appreciate that.
Oh, of course.
And I just had to elaborate. I wasn't trying to one up you or anything like that, because sometimes people need context.
No, yeah, it makes sense.
Well, gosh, this could be a short one today. Does anybody else have any questions that they want to ask? I mean, I know you're all taking the course and you guys are all experiencing things at different levels, and you're all pretty, you all have people working under you, and you work for other people too, technically speaking. Is there anything that you wanted to bring up or that you have questions about that you want to ask during the call? Okay. Fine by me. Well, I'll go ahead and end the training call a little bit early today. Yeah. Just so everybody knows that's out in the social media world, participation in these calls is a very good thing. You can actually have access to this call without taking my course. For $60 a month, we can set you up and you can have access to this call live. You can also get access to my Facebook group, the Leaders Lounge, and I have an exclusive community of people on my on a platform where I can give you access so that you can collaborate even outside of the big umbrella of social media to start talking about these types of subjects and keep all the salesy people that are going to try to sell you something after you make a comment about something out of there. So, yep, if you like these, like, subscribe, share, keep the conversation going in the comments, and please let me know what experiences you have. I'd like to hear about those too, because I can learn a thing or two and maybe learn and grow as a result of it. So this is JJ Hardy with Victory Leadership Coaching with Hannah, Pat, and River. And this was our Friday leadership training on reporting structure. Have a great weekend.